Joining me today to talk about financial derivatives in the commodities and interest rate world is Raphael Juston, Global Head of Commodities at SuperDerivatives, and Bob Emerson, Global Head of Interest Rate Derivatives, SuperDerivatives. Let me start with commodities. Raphael, what have you seen lately in the commodities business? New trends, new issues that players are facing out there?
Since the crisis, people have become much more aware of all the risks associated with the financial market or even their own operations. And they know that when they do a transaction in the market, they are transferring risk, but still they are still carrying some residual risk. The one that has been on which we spoke a lot is CVA, but that's just one of the risks that are still within the company.
Fair value is another important aspect, right?
Fair value and CVA is very much intertwined.
So Raphael touched on one aspect of it, which is that you have to include these residual risks or account for them when you're figuring out a fair value for derivative trade. You also need a reliable source for fixings, for index fixings within those trades. As you know, we've had both a fixing scandal both around Libor, which are short-term interest rates, and around swap rates recently. It's important to keep these things in perspective, though. It's actually not really possible to manipulate those rates because they're so widely used by very much. What's really important is that we aggressively fix the problems in the structures by which we create these fixings to restore confidence in them so corporate treasurers can use derivatives with confidence.
So fixings and access to good reference data, these are important topic even in the commodities business, right?
It's even more important into the commodity business because you have a flurry of references. So what you would need to have is at least a few benchmarks you can count on, and from which you can hedge your price risk, leaving your basis risk on the side.
I've had several discussions with corporate treasurers and with corporate advisors around the topic of, should they wait to hedge and sit here and enjoy these low floating rates? Well, these low floating rates are floating rates are low, but also the forward curves are where they are because there's no expectation of rates going up very soon. If we start to build some expectation of inflation and of rates going up in the near future, those hedging opportunities are going to go away because the curve will steepen out and corporate treasurers won't be able to lock in these rates. So I think it is a very, very good time for corporate treasurers to consider either issuing fixed rate debt or converting their floating rate debt to fixed rate using swaps.
What advice can you give to a corporate treasurer to come up with a good proxy hedge?
Oh, okay. So first to know his risk, to know what he's producing in his business, and that I'm sure they know perfectly right. The thing that when you start speaking about derivative corporate, very often they will tend to say that, okay, that's very complicated, I don't want to worry about it, but I need to do it, so I'm going to do it. So the first thing to do is to understand what is going on. Okay, you have price risk, is to say, your price will move according to the benchmark that is linked to the contract you have had with another counterparty, as well as a specific to your industry, specificity to the contract, the physical contract that you have had. Okay, so you will need to dissociate clearly those two aspects and find the right benchmark, isolate the right basis, and put in front of the price risk the right instrument that mimics your production or your consumption of the commodity. So, to put it in a nutshell, know what you are doing and translate that knowledge into instrument that will match your needs.